right, guys, it's Biggs. We're back on the hot seat, and I'm sitting here with an absolute legend. Now, YouTube world might not know who this guy is because YouTube wasn't around when you were younger, was it? You know,
No.
came out when you were about 8, I'm guessing. This is the absolute legend. This is the man himself, Mr. Charlie Grimes. We've known each other for several decades. It's absolutely an honor, my friend. Now, I figured there's nobody better to sit in the hot seat than this man right here. You don't know what we're doing, do you?
I have no idea.
You have no idea.
Just watched you perform.
He's not prepared in any way. He has not seen any of the questions whatsoever. Perfect. All right, Charlie. How many aquariums do you currently have set up?
Probably 115 or 20.
How many aquariums does your wife know you have set up?
Less than that.
Yeah. This is your first fish convention, right?
No.
When was your first fish convention you ever went to?
Oh, gee, I don't know. I can remember back that far.
It was in black and white, right?
I guess one of the first ones I went to was an ACA convention in Indianapolis. And no, the first one I went to was in St. Louis. First ACA convention. And I knew I liked cichlids and I liked cichlid.
He knew he liked it.
Then I went to a killifish convention, and I knew I liked killies, and I knew I liked killer people. And then a couple of years after that, our local fish club hosted a IFGA,
Yep.
which means guppies. And after that convention was over, I knew I liked guppies, and I hated guppy people. I found out that guppy people, not only do they want to win, they want their friends to lose.
So it's kind of a little bit more cutthroat.
It's just not very nice. And all of them were basically type A people.
Yeah.
And that was their one time a year they could drink to excess.
Yep.
And
But back then, is it one of those type of things that you could slip a nice crisp 20, the judge's way, and
that,
that
that
didn't
I
help
don't,
him?
that I don't know.
No. So you never won, is what you're saying.
I helped the fish club set up. I stayed for the banquet. I told my wife, I says, I can't come tomorrow and help them tear down because I'd want to kill one of these people before I left.
Well, it's good that you've evolved past guppies. I know you've mentioned in several of your presentations.
No,
that you like
I
to,
love guppies.
No, it's
I
just
just
sad.
got done having 2 years of guppies again.
Yeah.
I'm starting all over my hobby all over again. I got back into guppies. Now I'm moving into endless live bearers.
Yep.
And
Well, you just recently turned 29, so you're ready for the next phase of your life. Now, in one of the talks you were talking about earlier today when you were doing your ponds and stuff, you talked about you're using different Malawi cichlids and putting Malawi cichlids out into the ponds and stuff like that. And it worked well for you, right?
Yep.
Yep. Do you know that Malawi cichlids are primarily kept by women?
I didn't know that.
I don't know either. I just made up the
Oh,
question.
okay.
I didn't really know that was going to go.
All I know is a lot of my friends that raise a lot of fish, I found out their hobbies really go downhill when either they get divorced or their wife decides she's been raising kids and feeding the fish long enough and she wants to get a job outside the house.
Yeah.
And they go from 100 tanks to 10 tanks, like within 3 or 4 weeks after she went back to work.
Malawi cichlids to me are always, if you're into cichlids, that's the perfect starting point, and there's always hope that you're going to evolve past Malawi cichlids.
Yeah.
Tanganyikan cichlids, that's, if you're into Africans, Tanganyikan cichlids, takes a totally different level of dedication than does Malawi.
It's an station that I've graduated beyond.
I basically view that if you like Malawi cichlids, you like blue. If blue's not your color, you don't keep Malawi cichlids. Unless you're colorblind, and that doesn't really matter.
Yeah, but Tanganyika cichlids, by and large, if you like color,
Beige.
you won't like Tanganyika cichlids.
You like beige? Now, how many times you heard people when you're out doing things with non-fish people, they talk about cichlids and they have no idea, they can't even pronounce the name.
Cichlids.
Yeah. Now, do cichlids come in all the same flavors as the gum? Have you ever tried one?
A cichlid?
Yeah.
Yes, I have, but it's not my favorite type of gum.
How about a cichlid?
Well, I've tried a lot of them,
Yeah.
and I'm back into cichlids a little bit, and I do still. Well, I've got right now. I can't seem to get rid of the demasoni that I've been.
That's a good fish not to get rid of.
Yeah.
That's a care species.
They're it's amazing how good of sports they are about reproducing.
Yeah.
And
that's a good one. That one's like a rare species, so it's critically endangered in the wild.
I didn't
Having that one
realize
available
that,
is really
yeah.
important.
And I got one species of Victorians.
Okay.
The albino ruby green, I think.
Okay. All these
And-
man-made names for the Victorians they're above me.
Yeah, well.
It's like I did an interview with this big shrimp guy down in Florida, and he has
That's kind of a
200
big shrimp guy. Big shrimp.
He has a massive dog,
Man.
a massive dog. It's a probably 150-pound brute of a dog, and the dog's name is Shrimp. The guy has almost 200 tanks in his house, and we walked through his house, and like if I come to your place, you'll know the binomial nomenclatural name as a species and everything for all your fish. Now, when you get at Achilles, you also know some of the locations, right? Some of the stuff's very,
I used to.
but it's specific.
They changed the species names on all the damn things after somebody started doing bone scans and so on.
Yeah.
And now I figure I learned
They're not doing
I
bone
learned the
scans.
frickin' names about 50 years ago, and by God, I still remember them. I can't remember if I zip my pants up every morning. I have to look 2 or 3 times before I leave the house. But
I wandered around this shrimp guy's house for about 2 hours shooting footage with him, and there's Neocaridina shrimp, which you
Right.
know about,
That's
right?
the only
That's
one
your
I
cherry
have.
shrimps, and you can get those in blue, red, orange, white, pink, whatever color you want, whatever flavor you want, they'll make them in Neocaridina, and they're all just color morphs that they've capitalized on in line bred. When it comes to the Caridina ones, there's a few species, but they're doing the same thing. They're line breeding them. And like wandering around this guy's house, this is a King Kong Bumblebee Cinderella Pink Flamingo shrimp, and then this one's a Galaxy Fishbone Cinderella Purple Fish, and I'm like, well, what? And we did 199 tanks of that, and it was a struggle to keep my composure because some of the names that were coming up and the lines that were coming up were just out of this world. How many kids you got, Charlie?
2.
Are they named after any fish in particular?
No.
You don't have like Gill and Finn or anything?
Neither of them have the class to have fish.
That's a good thing.
They apparently had all they needed when they were growing up.
Yeah. Well, when I grew up, I thought like there's no way any brother or sister in my family is ever going to have a lawn or a garden after growing up at our place. You know, it was like forced labor camp. Like 9 in the morning, mom and dad are kicking in the door. Time to get up. They never got to the point where they poured a bucket of water on you to wake you up or anything. But okay, now you're known internationally for one particular talk mostly. Your dead fish talk, and you're going to be giving that tomorrow night.
Right.
Now. And your talks, your legendary, your fish keeping skills is also something everybody knows about Charlie Grimes and your skills. But you're also known for another thing, and that's your photography. And I know that you've given me all sorts of photographs to use over the years and stuff like that. And you've always been a favorite or a favorite of everybody for the photography that you do. What are your favorite subjects to shoot photography? Like I know you shoot a lot of fish pictures. But like when you go out, is there other things that like really interest you? You mentioned earlier, like you're not into sunsets and you're not into what was the other thing?
Flowers.
Yeah, you do like flowers though for
I
taking
like
pictures.
flowers,
Yeah.
but yeah, no, I like to travel and make memories with my camera.
Yeah.
I guess it's landscape and just going to new places.
Seeing nature and you like architecture and stuff too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. Now, do you take pictures of birds?
No,
Why?
seems like a lot of trouble for no more than you're going to get out of it.
You know, birds are food, right? Every bird is considered food, right?
I know. I kept birds for a while. I went to one bird show, and 2 months later I had 40 cages of birds, and I found out
Disappointment.
that a finch, somehow can be in a 14-foot room with a cage on one wall, and he can crap on a wall 14 feet away. That's when my wife told me I didn't like to keep birds.
Yeah, see, nobody should ever keep birds unless it's in your freezer, your fridge, barbecue, or on the table ready to eat. Birds are food, not friends. That's an admirable trait, Harley. That's an absolute admirable. I got to shake your hand on the bird thing. Absolutely admirable trait, because I see all these aquarists as they get older in their years and stuff like that. Don Dankos, Ad Konings, Juan Miguel. The list is endless. And it's like all of a sudden their passion is like, fish are secondary. I want to go take pictures of a sparrow. And they'll drive for hours in the middle of nowhere, some barren wasteland, to take a picture of some brown little bird sitting on a fence post. And they get all excited about it.
I have driven 500 miles, two ways, caught fish for 2 hours and drove back home just for fish. Now, I can't imagine walking across the street, take a bird picture.
He didn't do any bird pictures.
But I could drive to a location in southern Alabama, and well, now I have to have somebody else drive me back because I'd be asleep. But I'd go down there just for a couple netfuls of fish.
Yep.
So,
So unless the bird's
that's more important.
unless the bird's really, really sexy. Like if it's something like you're in Australia outback and you're being chased down by a mama cassowary or something like that.
Maybe a triple-breasted peacock I'd be interested in, but that'd be about it.
Now, do you play with anything other than dead things at home?
I'm sorry, I'm not sure I understand the dead
Well,
thing.
you've been known for your talk on dead fish.
Oh.
You collected all the dead fish that you found behind your aquarium stands on the floor. You didn't just collect them and throw them away like a normal person would. Your mind somehow said, I could do something with these.
Well, it was a serendipitous thing. I was giving a talk at a cichlid convention, and I had to come up with something different and not about fish because almost everybody knows more than I do about fish.
I find that very hard to believe.
But being a good old goomer boy,
Yep.
I know a lot about that. So.
Yep. All right, one last very important question, Charlie. Who is your absolute top, right at the very top, number one? This isn't a top 10. Who's your absolute favorite YouTuber?
Oh, it must be Chris Big.
There we go!
I think I know the answer.
That's top points right there. The man, the legend himself, Mr. Charlie Grimes. Thank you, my friend.
Oh, you're welcome.